Bum, bum. Oh, you are live, yeah. Oh, I am live. Okay, hey guys, what's up? It is Ren, and I am back with hopefully some helpful information. Well, I should say some more helpful information, anyways, because as you know, this is prime time hiring season in Korea, as I mentioned last time. I really hate this light because look at that. Doesn't that look so much better? But I don't know how to make it stay like that. Like, what is wrong with you, ring light? It's like my ring light is very small. And I got it because I'm like, oh, it's a good deal. Oh, okay. Maybe I just need to put this paper behind it. But me trying to hold this is blinding me. So that don't work. I don't know. Hold on. How? Oof, I don't even know. Anyways, I just want to be live so that I can do this, assist with this, all the things. So this is teacher mistakes and tips, Korea edition. So why we need this? So actually, I decided to talk about it because on my friend's channel over there at Slay All Day, they just did a video about Mochi. They just did a video about well, Payton talked about her previous job experience. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me go through some things. So one of the things she talked about in their video was severance pay and how at the end of their time, they wanted to leave and, they were made to sign papers. Hold up, my mom is messaging me. Made to sign papers, and the papers that they signed would say that they were leaving like 2 days before or whatever. So on with that, the thing is, okay, she said, but some of them got it, and then the people who were going to another school didn't get it, and all of them were leaving at the same time, which is messed up, right? There's a lot of other stuff in their video. I'm going to link their video down below as well, so you guys can go watch them because they're legit and just have a lot more content than me. So on the severance pay thing, severance pay, what the heck is severance pay? Severance pay is what you get at the end of your contract. You have to work 365 days. Those days the end can be vacation days, vacation days throughout, paid or unpaid, but you have to be contracted for 365 days. You have to be there that last day, 365. You cannot leave early in your contract early. You're technically not supposed to leave the country early before that 365 days. Actually, that's not completely true. That's what you are told in the beginning, but that's not completely true because if your school has vacation and your contract's ending, of course, then you're on vacation. You're on vacation when your contract ends. And there's a lot of EPIC teachers who may have vacation when their contract ends as well. So they have, they're finishing at that time. The only issue with that comes like pension, your pension money, and pension is something you receive when you're returning back to your home country. But not all jobs, not all countries qualify for the pension. So Americans do. I know that British people, they cannot claim it right away. And I believe South Africans don't even get pension at all because the schools don't have to pay into them, which comes into another thing that a lot of schools are trying to hire South Africans now because they feel like they can save money, but then they complain because they say they can't understand a lot of the South Africans' accents, which is kind of stupid. It's like, you're the ones hiring these people. You're the ones going through the interviews and hearing how they speak. And then you want to complain about how they speak. So very silly. So some mistakes that are commonly made when teaching in Korea. This is after you've been teaching for a while. Well, also, let's start with contracts. Let's start with teaching contracts because that's the real beginning. So in a teaching contract, when you first get your contract, you need to really look through it. Hey, unapologetic poetic. So when you get a teaching contract in Korea, you really need to look through it. You need to check everything because some of them are super sketch. Like you should not have anything about If you in your contract early, you're paying back recruiter fees. That is illegal. You do not have to pay back any recruiter fees ever. You never have to pay back recruiter fees. Even if you in your contract before 6 months, you end it within 3 months. You do not have to pay back recruiter fees. They will try to say you have to, but you don't have to. But a lot of jobs put that in their contract. That means they've been burned before. They may also, hey, Chels for hair. They may also, in the contract, they may also say that you have to have a 90-day, give a 90 days notice if you want to leave your contract early. That's not true. By law, the Korean government says 30 days, but you don't even have to give 30 days. 30 days is something they think is a nice thing for you to do, but you don't even have to do that because you are not a prisoner. So you can leave your contract at any time. You can leave your job at any time. They cannot hold you hostage at the job. And a lot of new teachers here in Korea, they don't want to really push back. They're afraid to stand up for themselves. They're afraid to go against the grain, as they say, and they just go with it. So they just go whatever their boss says. They believe everything their bosses say. And I think that's honestly the biggest mistake. Don't believe everything your bosses say in another country because you need to check the laws for yourself. And that's another thing. You need to make sure that you know the laws, you know what the laws are, what your rights are here in Korea, because if you don't, then you're going to get screwed over, honestly. I had to look up a lot of stuff when I was going through my stuff at the hagwon I worked at. And one of the ways I was able to move on easily, more easily than other people anyway, was because I looked up and I found out that your school cannot deduct any money from your paycheck other than your health, pension, and taxes. Okay, that is all they're allowed to deduct. Even my school right now is actually deducting out of my paycheck when they shouldn't. But when I worked at the previous school for Epic, they did the same thing. They deducted my food money out of even Korean paycheck, but that's actually illegal. They're not even supposed to do that. My school also takes my rent out of my paycheck. My rent, my food money, and then any other money that I have to pay, they usually take it out of my paycheck, which actually is not legal. Hey, Basic Blackish. Oh, I like that name. Yeah, that is not legal. So if you do find yourself after you get to a school and you're like, man, this is not working out, then those are some things you can look at and be like, okay, how can I get out of this contract? How can I get a letter of release? How can I get, to where I can get another job after this issue? Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm just trying to help some people out coming to Korea, make sure they don't make these mistakes over here. So let me go through. So as I'm still talking about the contract, that was just some things to look for that you don't want, for a contract you don't want to be signing. If they say you have to pay a fee for your apartment, some schools do that. I wouldn't really want to sign a contract that says you have to pay $500 out of your first paycheck towards your apartment. That is not cool to me. My school does it to where they take money from your last paycheck, and then whatever they don't pay, they take money for your final bills, and then whatever they don't use, they give it back to you. Now, I've been at my school for 3 years. I've moved 3 times, once every freaking year. And so I've done it multiple times. I know they're legit. I know they're not going to, do anything wrong. Also, I have great advocate there for me, who's a coordinator. So I know nothing bad will happen. Because she will go to bat for me, as she always has. So the other thing you want is to make sure your contract has health and pension in the contract. If it does not have health insurance and pension, well, let's say national health insurance, which is NHR, national health insurance. If it doesn't say national health insurance, you probably don't want it. Some companies do private health insurance, but honestly, you need to ask in the interview, what kind of insurance is your private health insurance? If they're like, oh, that's actually just the national health insurance, it's not a different thing, that's just the way they wrote it, I don't know why, then that's fine. Because I have seen people's contracts like that where it says private, but it's actually the national health insurance, which I'm just like, what? That's public health insurance. And then you wanted to say pension if you come from one of those countries. As I said, not all countries qualify for receiving the pension when they go back home. So that's actually one of the reasons why we're going home in March before we move to Seoul, is so that I can claim the pension money on my way out and then come back a month later and have all my money. So as I said, I was working at my school for 3 years. This is my third and final year at my current school. And I was at a hagwon before that. For 6 months. So I have all of that money that I paid into pension and my school paid into pension, which is a pretty penny, like several grand. And so, yeah, that's a big thing for me to be able to collect that. And they do have airport pickup now, which is awesome. And you can get your pension after every year if you end up switching schools. If you end up switching schools, go home, you can claim it, come back, a couple months later or a month later. Some people have done it in 2 weeks. So yeah, that's pretty dope. So those are just things to look out for in the contract. Make sure you have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Make sure you don't pay the recruiter fee. You don't have to do that. 90-day notice, I said that, no, it should only be 30. I feel like a lot of the hagwons that have had a lot of people leave, like do midnight runs, are the ones who put 90-day notice. So what is a midnight run? A midnight run is when someone leaves in the middle of the night. And that happened at my hagwon as well. So the person who replaced me, she ended up doing a midnight run. Like after she got the apartment cleaned of the mold and a new bed, she ended up doing a midnight run like the following weekend. I'm not even kidding. And they were like, she left. I was like, good. She needed to leave actually because, she shouldn't have been in that apartment condition because it was still filthy with mold. Like they needed to redo everything. They needed to treat it. They needed to cover it, all the things. But Korea doesn't do that. If you got mold, they usually just put wallpaper over it and don't treat it, which just comes back usually worse. So no bueno. All right. So once you're in your contract, actually, hold up, y'all. I gotta get my mama, my daughter. Hold up, Lily. This girl should be in bed. She might have fallen asleep. Y'all give me a second because I promised my mama I'll call her in 10 minutes. I'll be right back. Let me give it to my daughter. Hey, mama. Mama, I'm not on YouTube right now. Later. Talk to her. Don't talk to her. You gotta talk to her. All right. I wish you could press pause on live videos, but you can't. But I saw my mama for a second. She's, my mom works early. She goes to work at like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. now because she likes getting off really, really early. I'm like, that's wild. That used to be my airport times when I worked at the DFW airport. Good times. But anyways, so you get the job. You're over there at your job. You finally got it. You're happy. You're in Korea. You get to your apartment. Let's say, okay, usually, let me say this. Usually, you start work right away. Some people are lucky to get the actual training. Like if you're the EPIC program, which I talked about in my other videos, if you do the EPIC program, you do get like 2 weeks orientation beforehand, before you even go to your school, before you see your apartment, before you even know where the heck you're going to be teaching at. You have that. But if you're doing hagwon, you don't get that. And even like my public school here, I had training. It was like 2 days training. And yeah, that was cool. Yeah, baby. Grandma hung up. She probably had to go back to work. Just bring me back my phone, okay? So they used to have 2 days training. hagwon, you know what they did? Picked me up from the thing. They actually picked me up late. I was sitting there with Lily, my baby, when she was a baby on me. And I could not reach anyone. And I already told them, they're supposed to be there to pick me up at the bus station. And no one was there when I got there. So I'm calling, like, hello, where are you? No one's here. I messaged the contacts I had, they were like, oh, they should be there. It was like the recruiter. And I think it was like late. It was like midnight when I got there, or 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm just like sitting there. Some old guy kept pacing back and forth by us. I'm like, And then, okay, so they take me to, where'd they take me? Oh, they took me to my supervisor. My supervisor came and got me, and I went to her house. I was like, why am I coming to her house? Oh, is that right? Was it the supervisor? No, it's the director's house. No, supervisor first. It was supervisor's house. And so they took me to the supervisor's house, and I went there. And then the next day they were like, okay, we're going to the school. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, where's my apartment? She was like, oh, we're going to talk about that later. So guys, let me just say, it's already a red flag if you're not taken directly to your apartment, because your apartment's already supposed to be ready, supposed to be set for you. That's why you're coming, because they know you're coming. They know they're ready for you, all the things. There was a big problem at my place, and that's a whole nother story that I cannot get into on this, because it is so unbelievably wild. And if you want me to talk about it, I'll make a video about it. Woo! I still can't believe that all that mess went down, but it went down. But yeah, that person had some issues. But yeah, so if you're not going straight into your apartment, well, it's either they have a problem at your apartment, or they don't have an apartment for you yet. So that's not good, because they're supposed to be fully prepared for you. They know you're coming. They know when you're coming. They know when you're landing. They know when you're going to be there. So that's dumb. That's already a red flag. Okay, I'll make a video on it, Chels. Okay. I'll do it. Oh, y'all won't believe it, though. Promise you won't believe it. It sounds really made up. I swear, my life has been really like a K-drama out here. No joke. I got many stories. I don't ever do story time on here because of the school I work at, but I'm ready to go there now. Let me leave. Once I leave this school, I'm in charge of my own visa now. But let me finish my contract first at this current school, and then I'm really planning to start the story times. I'm not kidding, because got lots to tell. So, anyways, that's a red flag. If you don't have your place, so they take you to the school, and you usually start teaching like that next day or the same day. If you come early, you're not getting no rest. I would say make up the time you come in. give it another day. Go stay in a guest house somewhere. Say, hey, I'm flying in this day. Blah blah blah. I already know the bus system. I'll be there at this time on this day, and I'll probably make it to the school by this time. Shoot. I'm saying that so you can get rest, because I really, it hurt my body, because I'm like, it was like 2:00 when they finally got me, 2 or 3 a.m. when they finally got me, took me to the supervisor's house. I'm like, okay, this is uncomfortable. I would like to shower, all these things. I did get to do that, but it's like, I'm already late. And then I get woken up at 8:00 in the morning, and they're like, or 7:30, and they're like, okay, get up, you gotta get ready. And they're just like, what about your child's daycare? And I was like, oh, yeah, I was going to go there today. She called them and blah, blah, blah. She was like, $800 a month? That's way too much. No. I'll help you find something else. My sister can watch it for today for $50. I'm like, I didn't want to spend $50 on this when I could pay for a whole month and be done. But, actually, I was grateful to her for that, because I did find one that was way cheaper. It was like $534, something like that I paid instead of $800, because that daycare didn't know what they were talking about. They never had a foreigner, so they didn't know. But yeah, it was bad. Starting work right away, it sucks, and that's what happens to you when you come here. So I definitely suggest that when you come, Okay, wait. That's actually kind of hard, because a lot of the schools will book the ticket for you. They'll book the plane flight for you. You can ask them, hey, can I go ahead and just do the plane ticket myself and you reimburse me? But that also leaves you open to not being paid back. So unless you got money sitting like that, I wouldn't really suggest it. You can fly in, and, I don't even know. I guess flying in later would be better than flying in earlier, but they're definitely going to try to fly you in earlier to get you here in a time for you to start right away your training, which is you pretty much teaching. Because you're not going to use my real money, child. This girl keeps trying to use my money and buy stuff on the iPad. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. She should be asleep. You should be asleep. Actually, what's tomorrow? Oh, Lily, I wasn't going to send you to school. Oh, dang, I didn't tell your teacher, so you got to go. Sorry. Oops. I meant to tell her teacher today she wasn't going to go to school. So, sorry, Lily, you got to go to school. She has a performance, actually, next Wednesday, and it's the last one, and I can't go because I have to work. No, next Wednesday. Girl, get out of here. Let me finish my... What? Oh, you're sad that I can't come? I know, baby. I'm sorry. I have a class during her performance, so that really sucks. But anyways, let's keep going. Your ARC and passport. Okay, so you get to your school, whatever. They're like, hey, give me your passport. This is what you should be doing. I'm sorry. I'll give you the copy of my passport, which I already gave you. Here, I'm not giving you my passport. And so what I want you guys to do, make sure when you first come to teach, when you get in your apartment, change the door code. I'm not kidding. I cannot tell you how important this is. Change the freaking door code. Change your door code immediately. I'm not joking. Change it. Because I had them come to my door, knock, knock, knock. I'm sleeping. Coming to my door. And I'm like, hold up. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you weren't here. One, why are you trying to come up in my apartment at night? I'm resting. Like, I'm tired. We got off at 7. Some days, what were my hours? 9 to 6:30. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 7:15. Tuesday, Thursday, something like that. So I'm rested. I got my daughter by 7:30. The only great thing about my hagwon at that time was that I literally lived like 3 minutes from the school. I wish I wish that daycare that I first found was at 800 and they were cheaper because it was right across the street from my school. So I would have just been this little thing right there. But I had to go like 10-minute walk down the street. But it was all good. It still wasn't bad. You know, sometimes I did have to run back to work, literally run with pushing her stroller back. running. Sometimes I brought the stroller back. Sometimes I didn't, depending on the weather. But yeah, so if they ask for your passport, don't give your passport. Please don't make that mistake. Make sure you lock that door, change the door code, because you don't want anybody coming there trying to search for your stuff. Because I've heard crazy things, y'all. I've seen so many crazy illegal happenings here posted, and I'm just like, man, there's always someone who's going to go through it worse than you. And yeah, it's the truth. It's the truth. Out here in Korea as well, it's the truth. So also, there was one girl who just currently said, oh, my school director told me to give him my ARC. Your ARC is your alien registration card. That is like your social security card here in Korea. So that is what you get. You take they should take you your first day to go to immigration to turn in your paperwork so you can get your ARC card. If they do not do that, say, hey, when am I going to go to get my ARC? Then they will probably say, oh, we need to do the health check first. Okay, well, let's go do the health check today. They say, oh, no, we can't do it today. We're going to do it tomorrow. Okay, let's do it tomorrow. Let's get immigration out the way tomorrow, too. Because the problem is you're not technically supposed to be working if you do not have your ARC. If you have not turned that paperwork into immigration, you should not be working at all. That is illegal. And you can actually get deported for that. Literally get deported for that. Even if your school is the one who was like, oh, no, it's okay. You'll be fine. As I said at the beginning, don't trust them. Don't trust them because they don't know the laws for you. And they just make everything sound like it's okay because for them, they want it to be okay because they need you. They need to keep making their money. And so if they don't have you, if you're not working and the other teachers are gone, then that makes them have to scramble, or the director or whoever or supervisor have to step in to teach and do more work, which they don't like doing. Just so you know. So don't ever give them those two things. Never give them the ARC, never give them the passport. Now, they will get the ARC sent to the school because all schools have done this. They get it sent to the school, mostly because someone has to sign for it. So because it's it's a legal document. So the school signs for it, and they usually take it and make a copy and then give it to you. So that is fine. But later on, if your school is like, hey, you're going on vacation, give me your ARC card. No, that is not supposed to happen. Your ARC, as I said, is like your social security card in the States. You do not give that to anybody. You're supposed to carry it on your persons at all time for your total duration in Korea. The only time you give it to somebody is when you're leaving Korea for good. You give it to immigration at the airport. At the airport. Nowhere else. At the airport. How do I know? Because I did it. Cheers. And I asked. Asking is never a bad thing. Don't be afraid. Please don't be afraid to ask things when you get here, because that is probably the biggest mistake most of the teachers make, is that they're too afraid to ask about stuff. They just take it, when they hear it, and take it as truth when it's not always truth. Okay. So, all right. So that was vacations. I have a little list here, guys. I have a list of things. So that was for vacation. Also, most of the time, your vacations in your contract say 5 days. It usually doesn't include weekends. So I am speaking English. Ayush Singh. I'm speaking English. So they are holy donuts. What was I saying? So the vacation says 5 days, but it does not include weekends. So you're literally getting only 5 days of your vacation. Some hagwons are punks, and what they will do is they will give you 5 days, but those 5 days include the weekends. So you get Sunday, or it's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So yeah, it's just very crazy. Like, you're like, what? That is not 5 days. And that's actually illegal as well, because your vacation is supposed to be working days. Weekends are not working days unless you work on Saturday. If you work on a Saturday, which some contracts do have you working on Saturdays, so that would be normal for you if that is the case. What are you, boy? Get off my video with your weird nonsense. Yeah, like, what is wrong with you? That is gross. Anyways, if you want to change jobs, so say, all right, I'm working, it's great, it's going well, and then all of a sudden a bunch of crud happens and things are going crazy. I don't like my hours anymore. I can't get enough sleep. My mental health is going into the toilet. My manager always, says I'm doing something wrong. This happens so much. Always says I'm doing something wrong, but is not giving me constructive criticism, is not telling me how I can fix it. They're saying that parents are complaining about me. They're blaming me for things that have happened that are out of my control. All these things happen. So you're like, hey, you know what? I just want to leave. I want to go find a better job, or I just want to go home. This is getting out of control. All right. So if you want to just go home, I'm going to say that first because that's the easiest one to talk about. You want to just go home? Great. You can just go home at any time you want. If you want to be nice, you can give a 30-day notice. A lot of times, just like in the States, you give 2 weeks. They may cut you down in 1. They may say, oh, actually, you can leave in 3 days if you want. They can do that. It's really up to you and at the discretion of your director, supervisor, whomever. So yeah, there is that. That's pretty simple. So if you are leaving, you still don't give them your ARC, you don't give them your passport, you don't give them any documents. You do make sure you get all your stuff out of your apartment, because that is the nice thing to do. Make sure the apartment looks fine, because they're going to have another teacher. And please clean. Don't make people go into what I went to with that girl. Lord have mercy. Don't make people go through that, because okay. Oh man. Yeah, I just need to talk about it because people don't understand. People don't know. But yeah, don't don't do that to people. Just don't. Okay, just don't. Because having a baby and trying to clean up somebody else's mess and then clean and scrub down because it was so bad, like um yeah. So please take your stuff out, get everything out, check underneath the bed, in the clothes thing, if you got a clothes thing, all those things. Check everywhere, everywhere, and get your things out. You can leave dishes. Actually, a lot of teachers leave dishes and food stuff, non-perishable food items, which is fine if you know another teacher is going into that apartment. And you should ask before you leave your job, like, oh, hey, I just want to make sure, is there another teacher who'll be moving in? I could leave, like, some essentials, pots and pans and things like that, so they won't be completely out. Now, a lot of times when you do say you're leaving, your supervisor, director, maybe even coworkers may turn their backs on you. They may become a little cray-cray and, just start treating you extra. Ew, gross, Karen. What are you doing? Might treat you extra different. So just be prepared for that, because if you are switching, there's a lot of ill feelings from directors and stuff, because they're like, oh, you say you're going to stick to this contract, so you're not a professional worker, blah, blah, blah. There's all kind of mess they be trying to blame up. They try to blame you for everything. Then that's when they go into the whole, oh, you need to pay the recruiter fee back. Oh, you need to pay the flight money back. Actually, you don't have to pay any of that back. You know how I know? Because I did it. I went through it. And the people at the, what are they called? I'm going to say workforce, because that's the only name I can think of. The people who are there for you, for workers, workforce people, they said, that is not something I have to pay back, because that is not something that is required from the government. So I didn't have to pay back the flight money. And I definitely didn't have to pay back a recruiter fee, because that is not legal. Those are not legal things you have to pay back, but they will bring it up. And the biggest thing, you are leaving, don't sign anything. They will bring a paper. They will say, hey, for you to get your final paycheck, we need you to sign this. No, you don't. You don't need me to sign off on that, because you need to check, because what they're going to do is they're probably going to deduct your utilities out of it. They'll probably try to deduct a recruiter's fee out of it. If they don't do that, they'll probably try to deduct a plane flight out of it. If they don't do that, they may try to deduct damages out of it, saying that you hurt their school. They can't do that. They have to take it to civil court, which a lot of them won't, because it's expensive, and they don't want to lose that much money. It's going to be less for them to just say, okay, well, flight and whatever, down the drain, but I don't have to pay that court fee. So don't sign anything, please. No matter how much they pressure you, they put you in a room. You know what you do? Anytime they call for a meeting, you take this phone right here, and you know what you do right here? You go right there to your voice recorder, and you go right there, and you hit that lovely red button, and you sit it right down her. No, actually, don't even sit there. You take that, you turn that off, you put this hooker in your pocket, and you go in that meeting like nothing, and you make sure you ask questions, because your voice has to be on it too to make it legal. So you go in that meeting, and they say, you got to pay this, this, and this. And you say, it is my understanding that for you to deduct these things from my paycheck is against the law, and I will not be accepting it. If they say, no, you have to sign this, blah, 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 they're going to get loud. They will get loud. They will get loud. I will tell you, it has happened. It happened to me. They'll get loud. They'll, get in your face, all the things. Please don't hit nobody, guys. Don't hit nobody, because, you hit a Korean, it's over. Okay? So, don't do that. And, you have your proofy proof. So anytime, I'm serious, anytime. See, mine was still recorded in there. I can save it. So anytime you are in there, make sure, let me delete this, because I'm gonna be like, what is that? Make sure anytime you have a meeting with your bosses, they want to talk with you alone, any meeting, I'm talking about any meeting throughout your contract. If they're like, okay, we need the teachers together, go ahead and record it, because you never know what can be said. You never know what can be used against you also later. And you'll be like, no, that was a misunderstanding. You didn't understand that correctly. And then what you can do is go back. And actually, some of the people I know, they took written notes of their meeting. Oh, at today's meeting, they talked about this, and this. So that's also a good thing. Maybe record and write a meeting journal. so that you have those two things of proof. Say, no, this is my style. This is just what I do in all my jobs, blah, blah, blah. You know? So if you are planning to stay in Korea, planning on staying in Korea is a little, a lot more challenging. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna roll out. I don't like this job no more. My friend got me to hook up over there at the other school. Do not, please do not let nobody know what you're doing, where you're going, except that friend. I'm not kidding. Don't say not a word. Don't tell nobody you're going to another school, because there's always those backstabbers. Woo, you think they are close to you at your job, but they will turn around, man. They will turn around and kill you. I'm not kidding. It happened. Yeah, and then they still want to be all key in my face. No, player. I know what you done did. Think I didn't know you did that. And you still trying to talk to me, still trying to be cool with me even now? You thought I forgot? Hey, forgiven but not forgotten, right? No. You can go sit your lying behind or yonder, because I don't play like that. You're not gonna sit here and do me like that and then think I'm gonna be up here keying with you. That's not how we play. That's not how we roll. So anyway, I got a lot of from that last job, y'all. A lot of That's why I stayed at this job for 3 years, man, because it was good. It was really good. So you trying to roll out. You trying to roll out your job, and you're like, man, okay, I'm gonna put in this notice, but how can I get the other job? So there is a thing called an LOR, a letter of release. So this is where things get tricky, because you cannot switch jobs without a letter of release. But the thing is, jobs are not legally required to give you a letter of release when you leave it. Huh? Yes, that's exactly what I said. What? So you want to leave, you put in your notice, you say, hey, I want to leave, blah, blah. Can I get a letter of release? Pretty much all jobs are going to say no, because if you get a letter of release, that means you can go. They're releasing you to allow you to work somewhere else. Now, unless you really had a really cool boss, really cool connection, whatever, and just the work just wasn't for you and you just needed better times, maybe they will be understanding. They could possibly give you one. I did not get lucky in that area in getting a letter of release, but because of the other issues, which I told you about, the last paycheck, they deducted a bunch of stuff they weren't allowed to. So I took them to the workforce court or whatever, payment court, and I was able to get out of that. So that's where this paying attention and making sure everything's in order comes into play. So letter of release is needed. You don't get a letter of release, you pretty much have to leave the country, get all your paperwork again, and come back after the date on your ARC. So on your ARC card, there is a date of entry and a date of exit. So the date of exit is usually a month after your contract would have ended. So it's like, say your contract is ending in December, right? Your last day was December 1st. So you don't actually, your ARC doesn't actually end until February 1st. January 1st, because they give you a whole month, wrap up your affairs and do all that stuff. Very nice like that. And who knows, you may decide, I actually want to stay in Korea and not go home. Then you have a chance to transition to a new job or whatever. But if you don't have the letter of release, yeah, you have to wait that time. That time frame, go out of the country, like to Japan is really cheap right now. Go out of the country, come back on a tourist visa, and just wait it out. The other thing, if you have been here longer than a year, is you can try for the D10 visa. So say, okay, you left your contract early, don't have a letter of release, but you went to the workforce court or whatever because they took money out of your paycheck that they weren't supposed to. So you can try to apply for a D10 visa. It took me about almost a month before I could even apply for my D10 visa, and I don't really understand why. It was just kind of ridiculous. They're like, we see that you're in court, blah, blah, blah. And I explained it to the lady. She was like, but I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to wait. And I'm like, Okay. So then my friend was like, why don't you go to Seoul and try to apply in Seoul? Because I've heard a lot of people just get it in there. So that's what I did. So I ended up moving us to Seoul and go Shiwon. Oh, Lord. Thank the Lord for that blessing, but it was rough. So we went to Go Shiwon, so my address would be in Seoul, changed my address to Seoul, and then I applied. Well, I had to apply and change my address at the same time. So I did that and everything worked out. I was able to get the D10 visa, even though my case was still pending. And she did ask me for a letter of release still. And I was like, no, no, no. They said, I don't need a letter of release because of this court issue. So, and she was like, oh, usually they ask for a letter of release, but just make sure this doesn't happen again, or it may affect you changing your visa next time. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. It's not going to happen again. Thank you, Jesus. It didn't. So, yeah. So that was good. That was straight. I was able to do that. If you cannot get a D10 visa because you don't have a letter of release, then you have to leave the country again. So it would be the tourist visa thing as well. So if you do happen to get a letter of release, you can just switch jobs right away. You can just switch jobs right away because the letter of release is the release papers. You can go to immigration, apply for a D10 if you don't have a job yet, or you can go ahead, if you have a job lined up, go ahead and do your paperwork and you turn in the letter of release and you're able to change your visa. Well, actually, it's more like transferring your visa to the new job. Because all your jobs in Korea under the different visas, they own your visas, E2, E7, what is the other one? E9. E9 is like factory workers. E7 is what is E7? It's like specific language instructors or professors, and like university professors like that. And then E2 is just regular language instructors, which most people come over as. I am now F visa, so no one owns my visa. No one owns it, so I don't have to go through all this mess anymore. Hallelujah. Yeah. And what the heck is a D10 visa? Because I mentioned the D10 visa, but I didn't tell you what it was. And the D10 visa is a looking for work visa. There are more steps now to it than there were when I applied for it. When I applied for it, you had to fill out a paper just saying what you're going to be doing over the next 6 months. How will you be looking for a job? I just listed a bunch of websites. I listed a bunch of websites, a bunch of Facebook groups, and that's literally what I put for looking for jobs. Because how else am I going to do? How else would I look for jobs? So I put all the different recruiters and websites that I knew, and I just multiplied them everyone. So it's like every other one was the same thing, but just every other month instead. Yeah, so that's what I did. And then usually they ask for a bank statement, but they didn't ask me for a bank statement. So I thought that was interesting because you're supposed to prove how much money you have. And I think it was supposed to be like at least 5,000 or 3,000. And yeah, so that was good. And they didn't ask me, because I didn't have that money. And what else? D10 visa. Oh, now it's points. It's based on points. So however long you've been in Korea, how like your age, all these things. So it's similar to the F27 visa points system, which goes on age, education, language ability, all this crud, and taxes and whatever. So now they kind of like implemented those types of points onto the D10, which is dumb, but whatever. But I heard that if you have been, like, you already taught for a year, that it's not as challenging. So there's that. But if it's your first contracting, you need to leave your job, then that stinks. Your only real option, is to leave the country and come back. But you can come back, which is nice. A lot of people don't realize, even if you cut your contract short, yes, you can come back. A lot of jobs will tell you that you cannot come back. Like, oh no, you can't come back. I'm going to block you, from ever teaching in Korea again. They can't do that. They can't do that. They could. There actually is a hagwon blacklist for teachers, but they usually don't put people on there unless people really cause an issue, which there is a big issue right now. I was going to make a separate video about it, but I might as well talk about it now. There's 2 people on. I'll talk about it now, which is there was a Canadian teacher. I don't know if y'all saw the news. There's a Canadian teacher who was arrested here because she showed a video about cannibalism to her like 7 or 8 year old kindergarten students, which in Korea, 6 or 7 and 8 year olds are only 6 and 7. So real age, because remember Korean age is 1 year older, so you're one as soon as you're born. All the things, crazy. So yeah, so they're actually younger, and I'm just like, this girl did what? So they actually, the news article actually has the video of it, and it showed her like just scrolling down YouTube, clicking a video by the BBC, and I watched the video, guys, and I'm just like, there's no way. I'm not gonna let my 4 year old over here watch that. Even when she gets 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably even 10, she's not gonna watch it because it was nasty. Like the beginning of the video, they're talking about what flesh tastes like, and then he does a biopsy on the dude's leg and biopsy, yes, and pulls flesh out of his leg, his thigh meat. And this is not censored. In Korea, they censor stuff like this. Except for that movie Parasite. They didn't censor all that stuff. So I thought that was interesting. But Korea, like regular television, they censor things like that. Even on dramas, they censor things like that. They don't even show knives in dramas or guns. Like they have them, but they they blur it. So I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like that part just irked me. I skipped it. I mean, actually, I used to want to be a brain surgeon, so it wasn't really that bad to me. But thinking like my current first graders, would I show that to them? Heck no. My current first, second, third, fourth graders, no. Fifth and sixth, I mean, I'm at an English immersion school, and I don't think that content is actually that bad for higher level students who actually know what's going on, because we do a debate class, and our students are higher level, like I would say a lot of their English is more middle school level. So Korean middle school level, let me say that. And so yeah, it's just like what? So yeah, in his leg, y'all. So she got arrested because the parents complained, like they put in a complaint for child abuse. Child abuse. She actually was released. And they're continuing the investigation while she is at home. My question is, did she leave? Did she run away back to Canada, or is she still in Korea? Are they watching her? Did they take away her passport? Like all these things I'm so curious about, because I'm like, if you're going to keep investigating, I'm assuming they didn't. But she said, oh, it's not a big deal. They asked about more questions about cannibalism, so I just showed them a video. She was very nonchalant about it, which really irked me. And the other thing was, okay, so she just clicks this video, and my thing is, you can see the kids and they cover their eyes and put their heads down. I'm like, common sense. As a human being, as a teacher, as an adult, is if a child is covering their eyes, puts their head down, and it looks like they're making some sort of noise because they look like they were like, oh, normal reaction for children to something gruesome or gross. And you as a teacher, it does not click for you to stop the video. There's something wrong with you. Something wrong with you mentally. There's something wrong with you. And, I don't know what it is, but all of it is wrong. And yes, she was white people. Yes, she was white. And, I have nothing against white people, but sometimes out here in Korea, there's a lot, let me say it this way. White privilege is very real. It's very real. If you don't know it's real, then you're part of the problem. White privilege is very real, and so much more prevalent in a society like in Korea. And there's so many times where they're just like, I'm not even kidding, guys. I've literally seen posts. Don't get mad, because this is real life. I have seen posts of white girls saying, oh, he told me he wanted me because I was white, and white girls are so beautiful. So, I decided to date him. Like, what? Okay. And you're posting this in a public group. Like what? Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's very sad to me. And a lot of them do have a God complex, which is very sickening. Like, no, you are not the hero of Korea. You're not going to save these people. Like, they don't need saving from you. And they don't need you to think that you can save them and that you're better than them, which actually is a big thing. Sadly, a lot of American army men think they are better than Koreans. A lot of other foreign men think they are better than Koreans, and they will straight up say it. And I've heard them say it while I'm out and about. And I'm just like, really? You think you think you and your toupee wearing behind is something special? I mean, I got my wig too, but hey, but I'm just like, really? Really? Y'all don't even look good. Like, really? Mm. Ugh. My first real experience with that was in Hongdae back in 2013. This American army man was out with his friends. His friends walked away for a second. They were like, come on, man. He was like, no, I'm trying to get this girl right here. I'm not even kidding, y'all. I wish I could say this was made up. Me and my friends are sitting at a table eating. Y'all may know Justin and Abby. I don't know if y'all know Abby she was on the channel Smiling Soul. She has another channel now. But they were sitting at the table. Abby went to the bathroom. It's just me and Justin sitting there. I think there was like someone else as well. And we're just sitting there and I'm just like watching this. I'm like, hold on, wait, pause. Let's check in on this because this is making me mad. And the girl is sitting, okay, this girl is gorgeous. She is gorgeous. She was probably an actress or a model in Korea. She looked like she was mixed and she was with a Korean man. So this guy is down. It was like a open kind of bar-ish area. We're inside, but they were on the side by the outside. So there are bars there. And down at the bottom is just the street. So right down there is the street. I don't know if y'all have ever been to Thursday Party in Hongdae. It's like Thursday Party where you can walk out on the balcony, except that was the end of their building. And they just open sliding doors and people, the air can come in, people can, just see us. So they're on that end close to the road. And this dude is like, I'm trying to get with her. Blah, 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 blah. There's a white dude saying that. And, and so the girl is like, she was ignoring him. And he's like, hey, B, you need to be paying attention to me. Why are you with that effer? And I'm just like, really? Like, really? And the wait staff was like, hey, man, don't do that here. You can't do that here. Like, they're trying to eat. He's like, I don't give a F what you say. I'm trying to get her number. He was like, I don't think that's working. He was like, I'm going to call the police if you don't stop. He's like, call the police. And, and then so the Korean guy stood up and she was like, no, it's okay. Just, and that guy came up in the restroom and was like, hey, why are you with him? You like small penis, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, eh? I was like, hey, like, what the heck? Like, really? You're going to go there and embarrass yourself like this out in public? Are you joking? He is obviously under the influence. But I'm telling you, even that, yeah, I'll let that show. YouTube just asked me if I want to show your comment, Chels, but I'm going to show it. Yeah, so I was like, really, you're gonna embarrass yourself like that out here in these streets? Like, you're dumb. Like, why would you even say that? And it just made me like feel with rage and fury. Like, why would you do this? And I told y'all, this girl is gorgeous. She looked like she was maybe like white German. Like, she was gorgeous though. I mean, she might have been like German and Korean. And yeah, in a restaurant. He walked up in the restaurant and said that. And so the Korean guy, he stands up, and the Korean guy was actually taller than him. So then it got funny because he's down on the street. It already looked like, maybe the Korean guy is about the same height. No, the Korean guy was much taller than him. He was like, and then it's funny because the Korean guy spoke English to him. He was like, you have a problem? In like really deep voice. He was like, huh, you're not talking to me. And he like tried to push him out of the way. And the guy grabbed him, was like, you're not going to talk to my girl like that. And he takes him, he was like, takes him down. And they were about to fight. And the guy starts screaming like all these derogatory things to the woman, like, no, that's why you're a B, you're blah, 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 blah. So you know what? I was like, no. I went over to her. I'm like, I was like, I'm sorry you have to deal with this. I said, you don't have to, this is unacceptable. I was like, I'm American, and you shouldn't have to take this. So you know what I did? I don't know what I was thinking. I was drinking too. You know what I did? I was crazy. I went down on the street and started yelling at this fool. I was like, you're not going to be an ignorant American soldier over here and talk to these women this way. What is wrong with you disrespecting our country? I was like, you're a stupid. I was like, you're just stupid idiot. Like, what is wrong with you? I'm about to punch you in your face myself. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I remember, like, I was just like seeing red. I was like ready to box him. I don't even like fighting, guys. I don't even fight. Like, I don't even like, well, okay, I kicked somebody down the stairs before, but that's different. But but like, I don't really fight because, my friends in like middle school and high school, they didn't let me fight. They didn't allow me to fight because I was on the sports team. I was in choir. Like, I was the top athlete, one of the top athletes. So A team volleyball, A team basketball, the track star. So they were like, you can't fight. We need you. So like the other ones who were like doing shot put and discus, or they just came to our stuff. They would fight for me. I'm literally serious. Like, my best friend, she like literally boxed people for me because she was like, you're not getting in trouble. She was like, I'm already a troublemaker. Like, I'll just take care of it. I'm like, my hands are tied. So like, I don't fight, but I mean, we're not going to talk about those the couple times things happened. We're not going to talk about those. But I was seeing red for real. And this dude, like, I was like pumping. When you start pumping, I was like, you're not going to talk to these women this way. Like, I was so mad. I was like, if you want to talk like this, you take your butt back to your base. And I was like, and then his friends come up, and his friends were like, oh my gosh, are you okay? What is going on? What the F is going on? Oh my gosh. And I was like, shut up, stop saying, oh my gosh, your friend is a freaking idiot. I probably didn't use those kind words. I don't really curse though. So, but if I'm pretty hot, some words may slip out, but I don't curse. So yeah, I was mad. And it was funny because his friend was like, what did you do to her? I was like, it's not me. I said, it was what he did to her. I was like, you don't let your friend talk like this to women ever again. I said, or else he's going to have me in his face again. And so the black dude, there was one black dude in their group. He was like, yo, man, you better leave this alone. She's going to drop kick you in your nuts. I was like, okay. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm like, y'all childish. Like, I was like, okay, these are obviously men who are lacking intelligence, which I could tell, from the first guy. But I'm like, really? One talk about the penis, the other one talk about me kicking someone in the nutsack. So I'm just like, okay, y'all must have had lots of interesting experiences here in Korea. But those types of men, like, oh, they are rampant in Seoul, and it's so frustrating. And I'm glad actually that they did lift the curfew for the army people in Korea, but yeah, he knew for real. But I'm glad they lifted the curfew for the army people, because that was the problem. Like, they were suffocating to where they would come out to party in their, like, the little bit of time they had. They would get so smashed because they were on a limited time frame, and they would go back, and like, they would be so trashed. Like, they would try to party up a month of tension in one night. And you're like, That's not how life works. Like you got to go slow. You got to go slow before you go high. And they had lots of bottles with them. And the guys who came back, I remember they came back with bags. Like it was such an intense time, guys. I mean, this was 2013 summer, and I still remember this. That's how like traumatic it was because I was so mad that like you were gonna stand there and talk to a woman that way. Like I don't care if she's black, purple, red, green, Latin, Indonesian, whatever, different religion for me. I don't care. You're not gonna stand there and talk to women that way. Like that's just no. If you're not gonna talk to your mom, well, some of these men do talk to their mama like that, and I wish somebody would try to talk to their mama like that in front of me because I might I probably would backhand myself. Like, oh, I just don't like that. I don't like disrespect of elders. I don't like disrespect of other people. Like, I don't like that. Like, yeah, I may disagree with a lot of people's lifestyles, and I'm gonna tell them, I'm sorry, I can't mess with this freaking hair because like the hair is coming out. Like I disagree with a lot of people's lifestyles and stuff, but I'm not gonna have you disrespect people about their lifestyles. There's a difference. Like I can say I don't agree, that you like. I was about to say something there. I was about to say something there. Ooh, I may not agree with some of the actions you take with your partner, but I'm not gonna bash you for it and sit here and talk down about you. I'm just gonna be like, hey man, that's not for me. I don't really agree with that. You can do what you like in the bedroom, but I don't think that's the best thing for you. That's what I say, and I leave it at that. Y'all want to be hoeing and all these things, y'all go ahead. Y'all go ahead and do your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing. Yeah, but man, life in Korea is fun though. It can be so much fun if you find the right job, you get a good crew, you learn the hot spots, and you don't mess it up because people can mess it up so easily, man. A lot of people can mess it up so easily. It sucks. It sucks, man. I'm telling you, in 2013, 2014, those were the hot years. I mean, like the playground area on Hongdae, this is an area where we would be out sitting, drinking, everybody out there like busking and, people trying to rappers who wanted to come up. They would be out there trying to perform for people, which is another form of busking, but more hip hop style because they're singers and that. And now there's like dancers, there's like YouTubers in Africa, TVers, BJs who go out there and do their thing to, try to get more views and whatnot and do competitions and all these things out there just with foreigners on the street or Koreans on the street or both on the street. And yeah, I mean, it's all right, but it's nothing like it was, man. Those were the good times. Like, we trying to revive it, guys. We're trying to revive it. Your girl is about to be back in Seoul. We're gonna try to revive it a little bit, a little bit. Because I can't go out as much. I got my baby. She's most important to me, but I will be out and about here and there in Seoul. Every once in a while. I actually have two events on the same day, February 15th, and I don't even know if I can go to them. I really don't know if I can go to them. It's a Saturday, but it's like, for me to be able to go to them, I got to spend money, But I'm supposed to be looking for apartments anyway, and that's the time I was planning on going was like 2 weeks before I need to leave. 2 weeks before I need to leave the country. So that's actually a good time for me to go to Seoul if I'm going to go. So I can look for apartments like 2 days before that. And then, yeah. But yeah, just don't let people talk to you like that in Korea. Please don't. Don't be the girl sitting there just taking it. That makes me upset. It makes me upset because I'm like, yeah, she did. She was just like, no, don't worry about it. Let's enjoy our food. She was trying to be nice because they were obviously on a date. And I don't think she wanted to show out. She probably didn't want to show out in front of her man. And I can understand that, because Korean culture, is really not about that hot life, So I can understand her not wanting to show out, but y'all don't be that girl, please. Stand up for yourself too. I mean, there's not always going to be someone to stand up for you. And I promised myself that I was going to try to stand up for people and people can't because I have my own visa. And so it's a little bit easier for me now to help other people in situations like that. Just because, like, if they're like, where's your ARC? I'm going to be like, right here. And I can speak, Korean enough to shut up, Bixby. Goodness. Always popping up at the wrong time. Like I can help people enough to to kind of manage a situation if necessarily, if they don't know Korean. A lot of times I see foreigners with the police. A lot of times, like we went to a hotel in Itaewon, and there was this dude outside, and I told my daughter, I was like, okay, go out there and say hi to police, because we're waiting for our food in the lobby, our delivery, because delivery man is the best out here. But we're waiting for our food in the lobby, and I see this dude like out there with the police. So I was like, let me go say hi to the police officer, because I'm like, okay, if she's gonna go up to the police officer, then I can kind of eavesdrop a little bit. I can eavesdrop a little bit more. So I'm like, all right. So I was just checking to make sure that they did have an English speaking officer, because a lot of times they don't, but they did. So she goes over and she's like, my little cute girl. And they were just like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. And it's like, she was like, okay, bye. I was like, okay. I was like, that works. That works. I mean, he was straight, but I don't know what happened, because his face looked messed up. And he was a white dude. His face looked messed up. The other guy was with the girl inside and was like trying to hold her close. But he was like, is there a way I could get back up into the room? Like they let him go, but then he went back and he was like, is there a way I can get back up in the room? Because my stuff is in there. They're like, well, what room number is it? They're like, well, you got to get the girl to let you in, because she was the one on the room. And he was like, I tried and she won't let me in, but my stuff is in there. And so they're like, okay, well, we can go up there with you. So thankfully that worked out for him. I don't know what went down, but something must have went down with a crazy party. But it was 2 guys and 1 girl. May have been an interesting adventure. Who knows? Who knows? I got a story time like that. We'll get to that later on. Man, I can't wait for that time. But that's going to have to be 18 plus. I'm going to do all my story times 18 plus, just because it's alcohol and, interesting things and Hooker Hill and all the fun. And yes, I said Hooker Hill, because that's a real thing out here. That is a real thing out in Korea. So yeah, it's good. Korea is good. Just make sure that you take care of yourself, take care of your life. As I said, get with the right people, because the right people they're the ones who will mess you up or who will keep you straight. So don't be hanging out with the people who are trash all the time, vomiting everywhere. Don't hang out with those people. Those are the people who usually get you in trouble and make you end up in a strange place. And they might not even be there when you wake up or when you try to leave. You'd be like, where did they go? They'd be like, oh, I saw so-and-so go off with that dude, right? That dude who was over here. What? The dude with the bro cut? Yeah, that dude. Oh, but she got a boyfriend. Oh. I mean, unless you into that kind of stuff and want that kind of crew, then you can roll with them. Make sure you learn what the good joints are. On the Facebook groups, there's lots of people who will hook you up with the spots. There's a lot of people who like to keep the spots secret. Like me, I like to keep most of them on the DL, because you don't want people messing up your spot. It sucks, because a lot of the time, like these people, the new freaking teachers come, new students come, because of course it's not just teachers who are coming, it's students who are coming, who are like 18, 19, sometimes 17, 16, and they mess it up. They because a lot of places, they don't card you, right? You go in a convenience store, you can just buy liquor. And a lot of them are drinking underage. And some of y'all, if y'all underage, you might be happy, whatever. Oh, I can get liquor, blah, blah, blah. Cool, whatever. But no, you messing it up for everybody else. Like, there's a lot of times where these people get into fights. There's a lot of times where Army people get into fights, and they block all Americans or block all Black people, block all foreigners. Like, and it sucks. It's like, dang, man. There was actually a spot I went to in Gangnam with my friend, and we were trying to get in. My friend's Korean American. And they were just like, oh, it's gonna be like, what did they say the cover was? The cover was supposed to be 10. It was gonna be, she was like, oh, the cover's 10 for you, but it's 30 for your friend. I'm sorry, what? It's 30 for me? Why? He's like, oh, that's foreigner's price. I'm sorry, what? Since when? Like, I had never been there before, but my friend had been there with other foreigners before, because she's technically she half and half. So she's been there with other foreign friends before, and she was like, we've never paid that much money. Like they've never paid 30, and I'm just like, no, he's trifling. I said, no. She was like, no, we're not going. She was like, forget it. She was like, forget it. She was like, if my friend can't get in for 10, I don't want to come in. They're just like, okay, bye. I'm like, dang, y'all not hurting for any money. And then the other people in line heard that I was like, wow. Like I walked up, I was like, wow, 30 for foreigners and 10 for Koreans? That's a big discrepancy. And people were like, what? 30 for foreigners? Oh, no. And people started walking out the line. And the guy was like, hey. I was like, no, you said 30 for foreigners. No, we leaving. I'm so petty sometimes. Woo, I'm so petty. I was mad. Like, you're like some places, man, they just be trying to play you and treat you badly. It's like, like y'all keep saying y'all want to increase the Korean birth rate. How are you going to increase the birth rate without Koreans are not making the babies? Okay, they're not making the babies. So you need foreign people to come in and get with these Koreans and make babies. So at least you have half Korean babies. So they have Korean citizenship and your population grows. And maybe a mixed population, but at least your population is growing and your country's not going to die and all your culture is not going to die, right? So yeah, but no, y'all want to play with people and y'all want to be shady. So a lot of people going to roll out. And yeah, I mean, so actually that night we went to this other joint. Oh, it was so dope. It's in Gangnam. I don't even know if it's still there. It's called Pagoda. Pagoda? Yeah, no, Pandora. Pandora or Pagoda, one of those. Pagoda might be a school. Pandora. And it was $10 for all you can drink. All you can drink. Liquor. Woo! Liquor. And I mean, they had darts in there. It wasn't a really big place. They had darts in there. They had kind of like a mini dance floor close to the darts. And I remember the guy who worked there was really attractive. That's probably why I remember it. And yeah, I mean, it was just all you can drink place. It was so cool, so chill. And like you would take your shot, whatever shot you wanted. Like they had multiple, like different ones already set up, like all lined up, whatever. I think you can only take 2 at a time. Actually, maybe it wasn't a shot. Maybe it was actually bigger than that. Maybe it was like a glass. Because I remember we would go back to our seat and then we would like sit and sip and chat. And then you can like get little snack foods, whatever in there. It was really dope. I'm like, for $10, we went out of there. We were buzzed up. And we went to the club and got, what club was that? Not Octagon. Oh, Octagon's a good one though. My friends DJ'd at that one. It was good. But oh man, I can't think of the name of it. It has like different it's like all EDM music. EDM. I like EDM and I like the EDM clubs and I like the hip hop clubs. A lot of my friends don't like the EDM club, so it kind of sucks. I'm like, I love EDM. Like in Texas, man, the club that we went to was EDM and they would do EDM like with hip hop mix. So it was really nice. They also had country thrown in there sometimes because it was like a country hall. So during the week they had 2-stepping lessons and all that kind of stuff, swing, whatever, 2-step, Texas for you. So yeah, but whoo, it's fun. Korea, man, I'm ready to be back in Seoul just so that I can go to more events. I really want to go to like concerts and stuff, and it's just so hard when you live like even an hour away. Like you think, oh, an hour is really not that bad to be from Seoul, but it's exhausting. That's the biggest thing is that location when you come to teach is so important. I mean, unless you're like how I was when I first came in 2014 to teach, not 2013 when I came to study, but when I first came to teach, I was like out in the boonies. It took me 5 hours to get into Seoul, but I went to Seoul every weekend, except like maybe twice. But I would spend my money like crazy. I was shopping, I was partying, I was funning. I don't know. I was going to arcades, and I mean, I'm sad though because at that time, like I didn't know about all these like cool. Actually, I don't even think they existed at the time. Like the VR booths didn't exist, and like these other cool arcades didn't exist, and like now they have like this archery place that didn't exist. I'm like, dang man, all these dope places now that weren't here when I was here in 2014. It's just so like that's a little bit sad for me because I'm like, dang, I probably would have like hung out at those places more than I would have partied. But I met a lot of people. Oh my goodness. I met so many wonderful people. And I definitely suggest going to bars, even if you don't drink, because one of my good friends, she didn't drink. And we would always go to the bars. So she didn't drink, but she would sit at the bar and she became friends with bartenders. And because she didn't drink, it made her look even better because she wasn't drunk, falling all over the place and trying to talk to bartenders. She was literally having a decent conversation with them because she was coherent. And so she knew like all the bartenders. And so I got to know a lot of bartenders, which was dope. And yeah, it was great. I'm still a lot of friends with the bartenders at Thursday Party, thanks to a lot of the people that I met from that time. And language exchanges. A lot of people don't like language exchanges in Korea because it usually turns into Koreans just trying to use you for English. And then if they say, "Oh, let's be friends," that means let me use you for English for an extended period of time until I get tired of using you for English. And then I vanish and ghost you and never to be seen again. But I was fortunate. The people I met, we hung out. We went out to eat together. We went to bars together. We went to clubs together. We literally hung out together. I probably hung out with, I'm going to say about 12 or 13 people that I met at the language exchange, hung out with at the language exchange, and we actually exchanged languages. And then we hung out, and there's probably, out of those 13, there's probably 7 or 8, I can't physically count right now, 7 or 8 that I actually still talk to. I think that's a pretty darn good number. The other ones, I'm guessing they got married, because when they get married, the men, they usually stop talking to you. A lot of them are guys that go to the language exchange. So a lot of the girls that go, if they're in the Korea boo category, they will be looking for a boo. Which is kind of frustrating because it's you can see the ones who are there to actually study language versus the ones who are there to find a partner. And I don't want to knock anyone down. You have every right to find a partner, whatever. But, other people really want to learn and study and grow in their language skills and not have to see that or deal with that or be irked by your overly flirtatious self. Y'all can go out, y'all can exchange cacao, go on a date after that, or go plan an event with them alone. Don't be doing all that stuff up in the language exchange. Please. Ugh, gross. Gross. No, I'm just kidding. But for your information as a teacher, when you're here, let me give you the tip of the tips. The tip of the tips of the tips. And the best tip I can give you is go on Facebook. You must be in Korea, though, or you should be in Korea, and join the group called LOFT. It is LOFT, Legal Office for Foreign Teachers. Why? Ren, why should we join this group? Oh, this group will give you the lowdown, hoedown of all the things I talked about. It will tell you some great information about resources you can find. You can find the Korean immigration number, the tax office number, pension, about health insurance, about hospital vocabulary is there. If you have a medical dispute, if you need to contact the Ministry of Employment and Labor Office, that is the one I used. That one. If you have an appeal for commissions for educators, if you're fired, unfair dismissal, they have that for you. Housing lease dispute, they have all these things, and they have where you can go online to actually file a case if you're leaving your job and they take that money out of your paycheck. It has that where you can go file at the Central Government Petition and Complaint Filing Agency. So you can file on this thing. It's called ePeople. You can file there to get your stuff taken care of, and it's really great. One other thing though, as a teacher, sorry, I went all the way back. Gave you all the good stuff. Went to the really good juicy stuff, and now I'm coming back to the teaching stuff. But if you are leaving your job, dang, now I forgot what I said. If you are leaving your job and you're leaving the country, but you didn't get paid your paycheck, do not leave the country right away. Like I always tell people, please don't leave the country right away. You need to wait. Wait until your last paycheck is in your account before you pay for your plane flight. Why do I say that? Because a lot of times people have left the country and they never got paid. And then they're like, okay, well, where's my check? And then they message the people and they stop replying to them, and then they don't know what to do. Yes, they can still file and eat people, but the problem is they need somebody here in country to go to the meetings and say, because I had to meet like with my director, but he didn't come. He called in because he didn't want to show up. And so you're supposed to meet with them. Like you have to go to the immigration office where they have their the LSA office, and then you have a meeting with that. And there's like a guy, kind of like an arbitrator. Is that what he's called? No, arbitrator. What are the people who a mediator? There we go. He's like the mediator, or she is the mediator, and they're just like, okay, well, they said blah, 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 blah. And legally, no, you cannot do this because that is against the law. The law says this. And then they're like, well, if they pay this, then I'll be fine with paying this. And I say, well, I'll think about paying that after I get my money. That's literally what I said, because they wanted me to pay the flight money back. And I'm just like, I was here 6 months. Y'all made me suffer. Like I should have really went to the health, filed a health complaint against them for the housing they put me in, a housing complaint. And I could have got money for that because it really damaged my health, not only my health, but my daughter's health. And like, y'all, since that happening, your girl changed. I changed so much from that experience. And I'm actually, I'm really grateful for that experience because I have stood up for myself so much more since that happening. Like before that happening, I was just like, oh, because that was my second time in Korea teaching, but that was my first hagwon experience. So I'm like, oh, maybe they just do it a little differently. But no, if you're not going to care about my health and my daughter's health, I was rolling up to the doctor like several times a week. Like my coworker was in the hospital for 2 weeks for freaking pneumonia in both her lungs because that's how much mold we had in our freaking apartments. The teacher who replaced me got them to replace the bed, and they replaced the bed. And she said when they took my old bed out, there was green slime that came out. Now, I'm sorry, but I've never seen green slime come out of a bed. And I was on that bed with my daughter for 6 months. And they act like you got the wrong one. Like, I wish I would have known about the bed thing before the meeting I had, because if I would have brought that up. I was like, oh, do you have any pictures? Because I was like, do you have any pictures of that? She was like, no, they were with me, so I didn't take any pictures. I was like, I would have been snapping everywhere. Like, no, like, you replaced this bed? Oh, no. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Clean this phone. Look at this. You trying to kill me. Chop, snap, snap, snap. I'm taking this to the health office. Forget all of you. No, you're not going to kill me. No, but they did. It messed up my throat. Like my throat was getting better as I was losing weight when I came back to Korea. When I was like losing weight after having my baby, and like my voice was getting better because I started having issues while I was pregnant because I gained so much weight. And as I was losing weight, my throat started getting better. But I was working out in my apartment with all this mold that I didn't know. I didn't know how badly it was until like 2.5 months in. And then I was like, ooh, what is this? And I saw mold growing into my wardrobe. And they're like, oh, well, it's probably because you're not airing out your apartment. It's probably because you have too much humidity in there. Oh, it's probably because you're not using your air conditioner enough in the summer. I'm like, how? I have lived in many places, and I never seen this much mold in my life. But I knew how dangerous mold was. There was green mold and there was black mold, and I didn't even know. I never moved the bed because it was. As I said, y'all, what I moved into was interesting. So I never moved. I never wanted to move the bed. And then when I finally moved the bed, this was about a month before I left. I saw across the wall is all black mold. And I was just like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And so I took pictures of everything. I could probably sue them still for that because I have medical bills. I have a note from my I'm about to say it in Korean, Ibian Huga, my ear, nose, and throat doctor here. And yeah, I have a note talking about that this was probably caused by mold, my issues, my throat issues. And that's why I'm like trying to drink so much water over here. But yeah, please, guys, please take care of yourselves when you come to Korea. You can message me. You can email me. Like I don't care. Like message me on Instagram. Message me on what else do I got? Snapchat, whatever. Send me messages if you need help because I will send you all the information I got. I will find people to help you out if you find yourself in a sticky situation. I will do all the things because I don't want anybody going through that mess. I don't want any of y'all going through that. I want y'all to live it up and be healthy and happy out here in Korea because that's what we deserve. Over there in the US, some parts of the UK, South Africa, we all just be going through it and suffering. And Korea, thankfully, we don't have to suffer very much. There's not people walking around with guns on them. There's not, people usually walking around with knives on them trying to kill people randomly. There was that incident 2 years ago with a man who just killed a random woman in a karaoke bar. But yeah, that he had mental issues. But yeah, I mean, it's not common stuff. And then the other side of it being that you as a foreigner, you may not be treated properly when you come here. I hope that you are because I've only had really, I talked about it in the last video that I only had really two bad experiences in Korea. And yeah, that's it. But everything else has been so positive. And I don't really count my job stuff as really as bad experiences, as that bad. I think like a single person doing stuff is kind of worse than a company because I know how companies are. They're all about the money, all about the business, all about them Benjamins. So I can understand a company being more corrupt than people just being evil. So yeah, so if a single person did it, then that affects me more than a company. So I don't really count my hagwon experience as that bad. It was bad, but that's not my worst experience. So it's not. It's not. And I'm as I said, I'm grateful that it happened. It taught me a lot, and I'm very happy. Let me actually post the name of this group in the chat. Facebook group I talked about. Please only join if you're in Korea. And I will say about this group, if you join it, you have to read all those sections. It is a lot of information. It is a lot to read. It is a whole lot. It will probably take you a good 30 minutes. It could take you longer, depending on if you need to look up some of the terminology and things, or if you go to all these websites, it could take you over an hour. But it is worth it. And also it will make you not make a dumb post. So don't go posting on that site, the loft site, if you don't have a legal issue or you don't have some sort of issue. Just don't post on that. It's not for posting just random stuff about Korea. It's if you have an issue in Korea. Some sort of problem like your job is not paying you something, or they sent you a message, or they want you to sign something and you just want clarification. Of course, most of the time, the responses look at the frequently asked questions section. Look at the things you have to read before you join, and then check that information and call the parties that you need to call. That's usually the response. But that makes sense because if you do a search, you can probably find anything and everything you want to look for. It's also nice when you join, you can read the stuff and then you can search in the group and see all the stuff that has come up with that. And you may even be able to solve your problem without even posting anything. You may say, oh, that's more time consuming than just posting. But if people have already taken their time to give the information, then you should be okay taking your time to search and look for that information that was already given. Because I've given my time. I put my stuff on there as well. And yeah. Oh my gosh. Teacher tip done. Hello, recruiters. I talked a bit about it on the last video, but I didn't talk about like my favorite recruiter, which is the one. I didn't really go much into that. The one that I got this job with, and it's this one, Teach ESL Korea. I love them because when I was going through it, they actually got me the job at that hagwon. And so I was like, no, I'm not gonna go with them again to find another job because they messed me up. Like they're messed up, blah, blah, blah. Like I don't wanna deal with them. But you know, all these other places, they were like, oh, your previous job gave you a bad reference, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back to them and tell them they messed up. So, like, I was like, they messed up. But of course, I didn't, I wasn't coming at them like that. But that's how I felt in the moment when I was thinking about it. But, as I'm typing, I was like, oh, it's not really their fault. This is their business as well. And they trust that these companies are treating the people they send properly so they can keep their business, as well. Because, they have to keep their business by having good recruiters so that the teachers stay. So they get their money because recruiters get paid after 3 months. You stay at the school 3 months, recruiters get paid. So this one, I messaged them. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on at my school, my current school. I'm about to leave on this date. Blah, 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 blah. Is there anything you can do for me? They're like, okay, well, let us know how it goes. Well, they said, thank you so much for letting us know what happened. We're going to look into it more and let us know how it goes, and we'll help you out where we can. So I was like, they're going to help me out where they can. That's dope. So everything gets done. I leave, and then I'm doing the D10 thing. So I email them again. I say, hey, I'm waiting to be able to apply for the D10. I had to take them to court, blah, blah, blah. Not court, but like it's kind of like a court for that situation. And I was like, I had to take them to court, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, okay, once you get the D10, we're going to get you another job. We're going to help you find another job. And I'm like, thank you. I was so happy. So I'm always recommending them first because I'm like, if you got me a job and then that job wasn't cool, but you're going to come back and rewind and be like, yo, we're going to hook you up over here. And they're the ones who got me this current job. This one with the it's actually not better pay. This one with the better situation, with better, the better hours, much better hours. That's what I meant. I'm like this, but I really meant this. This right here, man. Yes. Better hours. I work 9 to 5. Well, not 9. I work 8:30 to 5, Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, we work 9 to 3. Actually, it's not even 9 to 3 now. It's 9 to 2:45. So, yes, it's been good. Good 3 years, and we have great vacation. That was the biggest seller. But I was actually trying to get a job in Gangnam that they sent me as well. They're like, oh, you can go here. And that one paid more. But when I went to see the school, actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and talk about that because that's going to help you out. I didn't even think about that. So I went to see the school in Gangnam, and there were so many red flags. So guys, y'all know red flags are not good. They look like blood. You don't want to go somewhere where someone's bleeding. That's when you turn the other way. So I go in, and they were very nice because they were like, oh, you can bring your daughter with you. When she, next year, she can come to our hagwon because she wasn't old enough yet. She can come to our hagwon next year for free, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. They're thinking about me being here for longer. That's a good thought, whatever. Okay. So I walk in, and they're like, first thing, they told me they were on vacation. So when I walked in, I saw an administrator there. And then this lady, the girl, she is a Korean American, but she is the head teacher. Okay, I'm like, okay, head teacher is doing this interview thing during vacation. Okay, that's weird. And then they take me to this room to the side after I walk in. Lily's just running around playing. They're like, it's fine, let her play. There's lots of things to play with. Okay. So they take me to this room, and this room is right here, and they have books in there, like reading books. And there's a teacher in there. And I'm like, she told me they're on vacation. The teacher is in there cataloging books during her vacation. They're like, oh, she's cataloging books. This is what she wanted to do with her vacation because she wasn't going anywhere. I'm like, I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry, what you say? Who gonna say that? You gonna say that? Because I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna be sitting up in some school because I have nowhere to go for my vacation. I'm not gonna be volunteering my times, the little bit of times you get for vacation at a hagwon, to sit up in a school and cataloging books. They're like, oh yeah, she's doing it. She gets extra pay for it. I'm like, there's no extra pay. There's no extra pay in this world that's going to make me give up my vacation time to catalog your books. I just couldn't believe it. 네, 한국 살아요. 원주에서 살아요. Hello, Despoti. Despoti. He's asking if I live in Korea. So that was the first thing, okay? Because I'm like, that's cray. So they take me in and they're like, oh, okay, and this room. I met the director when I first went in. He greeted himself and he disappeared. So I went into the first room and like there's all these books stacked on the table. She's like, oh, actually, we're moving all these stuff to upstairs because, or no, they're moving it downstairs because they didn't have enough enrollment for their school. So they're moving one of the classes down since now that class will be empty because they don't have enough students to fill the class. So think about this in your head, okay? First, the teachers here on vacation, cataloging books, supposedly getting extra pay. I don't know. That's probably true. It's probably not enough. Then now you're telling me you don't have enough enrollment, which means your school could be going under or your school is not that great. Okay, that's what it tells me. And then, okay, we're going. And they're like, they take me upstairs and they were just like, oh, and this is our gym. And you'll be having gym class every day with your students. And I'm like, I'm sorry? What? And she was like, yeah, we do gym with your students every day. And I think they like told me it was in the morning or something, like a second or third period or something. And I'm just like, huh? And so I'm like, so I'm going to be sweaty teaching some more classes. Does that sound right? Because I don't think that sounds right. And all I could think about was how badly I sweat and how badly when I sweat, I stink. So I'm like, this is why I work out at home, y'all. Y'all don't know. I work out at home. My workouts are at home. That is what I've been doing. I lost some weights and I do my workouts at home because I don't want people to smell me. People don't know that. But that's literally why I do home workouts. Like I feel like I smell horrific when I work out. Like every time after, I'm just like, gas mask, So no, that's not going to work for me. Also, I'm thinking about my hair. I'm a black woman. You're not going to have me out here doing some exercises in the morning after I don't press my hair to look good for work. Like I'm trying to look all good and professional, and you want me to do a workout with these cheerleaders who probably going to pull my hair and all these things anyway. I'm jumping around. We got jump ropes. They got these big old balls. They talk about some tumbling thing. I'm like, Lord have mercy. I am a black woman. I cannot do that with my hers. I have no idea what you're talking about, Linda's Genesis, but okay. So I'm just like, there is no way that I can do that with my hair, with my body issues. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm very athletic. Zero out there. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm very athletic. That's wonderful. That's like I'm trying so hard, guys, to, because I needed a job. So, I'm trying so hard. I'm like, okay, okay, maybe I can handle it. I'm just gonna have to do ponytails. I'll come to school, hair it down, take some selfies, and then I will, put my hair up for the thing and thing and hope I can maybe brush it down later, if I do pigtails, something cute, I can figure it out. I'm a black woman. I can figure it out. So, then I was just like, okay, well, so they're like, let's go talk about the contract. And I'm like, okay, cool. She's like, okay, so you're gonna get this amount of money. I'm like, oh, that's good because I told you it was a higher amount. And you'll get this amount of money, and you'll have health and pension, which is great. As I said, great things to have in your contract. And then she was like, oh, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. She was like, oh, yeah, does it all sound good? And I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And she was like, oh, we'll help you find a daycare for your daughter over here, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, that's wonderful. And she was like, you can start as soon as we find your daughter a daycare, right? And I was like, yeah, exactly. And she was like, oh, that's wonderful. And she was like, where are you living? And I was like, oh, I was like, aren't you going to provide, you guys don't provide housing? And they're like, oh, no, we don't provide housing. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, most of the teachers already have their own apartments here. But I do get housing. And I'm like, what? Like, what kind of white answer is that? Like, most teachers have their own apartments, but I do get the housing, but we're not going to give you housing. Like, that's about white. And she Korean. I'm just like, what kind of, no, that's about Korean, because that is the Korean logic out here. They be saying stuff like that all the time at jobs, and you're just like, hey, sorry, what? Like, that does not make any sense. Y'all, not my school. Let me tell you, my school is actually pretty darn good about that stuff. My school is pretty darn good. So they're pretty clear, thanks to our coordinator who did school in the States. She was in the States for like 10 years. So she is dope. She's legit. That's my girl. But I'm just like, you're not giving me housing. I was like, and she was like, yeah. She's like, maybe we can, she was like, I'll talk to the director and see what we can do. And so the director was like, oh, she had to speak Korean to him because his English wasn't that, fluent, which actually happens is the case in most situations with hagwons. The directors, most of them don't speak English, so that's another thing. So you should probably at least know some basic Korean before you come to Korea to teach. So then I leave. And maybe not even before I get off the train after Lily and I leave, I get a message from her like, oh, did you make a decision yet? I talked to the director. He said we can give you housing. Please let us know tomorrow or the next day. And I'm just like, tomorrow or the next day? Like, that's too fast. So I told my person, like, because actually the reason why I didn't want to, like, it was between that school and my current school. And I didn't want to come to my current school because it said Gangwon-do. And I didn't really know where Wonju was, this city. And I was like, that's probably really far away. I already lived down in Gangwon-do. I didn't like it. It was very small. It was boring. I was, as I said, in Seoul every weekend. And I was like, I can't, do that now with a child. So I'm like, I don't want to be bored. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to kill nobody, all the things. So with that, I was like, okay, fine. So I told the recruiter, I was like, oh, I need a little more time. Let me go ahead and, have the interview with the school in Wonju. So they set up the interview. I had the interview the next morning, not even kidding. I was like, friend, can you please come to my guest house and watch my daughter, please, in the morning at this time? Okay, thank you. And so my friend watched it. I came up with some phonics lesson. I was like paper, and I literally wrote several pieces of paper. And I was like, this is a ball. Okay, great job. And I like pretended like they were actually responding. So yeah, I was doing like the common thing, like, oh, you're so awesome, great, you're wonderful, all those things. And so they were like, they contacted me back. They're like, they left you, you got the job. So when can you come to do the paperwork? And I was like, I can come tomorrow. So I went and I did the paperwork, everything, took my daughter there with me because I asked about it and they were like, yeah, that's fine. So I took my daughter there. They just loved her and everything. And so everything worked out. And the other school was like, oh, did you make a decision? I was like, I'm sorry, I decided to go with another school due to the whole housing thing. And I didn't want to make you guys go out of your way to get housing for me if that's not something you normally do. And I was like, thank you for your time. Goodbye. But it was really like red flag, red flag, red flag, no, 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 heck no. That's really what it was. But yeah, so when you're looking, you need to make sure that you are looking. Dang, I really want to fix this light. I hate that. That you are looking for these red flags, that you know what to look for. I hope that this has been helpful, inspiring, fun, exciting, all the things for you. Yeah, I'll be back again on Friday, I think, maybe. For another thing, I may, guys. It is 2:26 in the morning, and I think my daughter is still awake, and she has to go to school tomorrow today because I did not tell her school that she was going to stay home. I forgot because I told her she can stay home Thursday, Friday. Totally forgot to tell her school, and I don't want to just like not send her because that's like messed up because they have plans, for their days and they're practicing a song for next week that I can't even see. And she was like, Mommy, I'm supposed to give you a rose. Can't you just come? Like, I can't be there. Like, because also if I actually teach a class at the time of her thing, but the other thing is if I get someone to take over my class, I have to pay them $20. And I'm like, I've spent enough money because my daughter had the flu like last month and I had to miss 3 days of work. And so because of those 3 days of work missing, I had to pay people. For one of the days because I also got injured, yay, for 2 days. So I was able to take 2 sick days, yes, that were paid for. And then the third day I had to pay people and one class got moved to that day. So I had to pay $20 extra. So I think I paid out like $80. Yeah, it was no, actually I paid out $100 because that class got moved. And they were like, oh, you have to pay this. I'm just like, yeah, and we have to pay the day of. Like, we don't get any break. Like, when you come back, you pay the people. So I'm like, no, I already paid out enough money last month. That's why I do online teaching too, guys. So as I said in my last video, if you already have your bachelor's degree, want to teach from online, come join me at VIP Kid, Cambly, Preply. I'm going to be looking into iTutor Group and Powfish soon. So yeah, if you want my codes, let me know. You can help me out. I'll help you out. I will help you get everything set up. I will let you know about other things. Yeah. So hit me up. Yeah, and go follow us on Instagram so then you can message me if you need help in Korea. That's probably the fastest because I do be looking at all my Instagram messages. If you are a man and you're trying to hook up with me, no, that's not how we roll. So do not DM me anything that makes me crazy, and you will get the block. So you will get the block of cheese. Anyways, I'm out of here. I gotta roll out because I gotta see if the little girl is asleep or not. And yeah, peace, love, and what am I saying? Korea. I was trying to do K and peace at the same time because that's K in sign language. But peace, love, Korea. Bye, guys. Annyeong. Annyeong, 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 annyeong. Okay, yeah. As I said, I'll be back maybe Friday. Actually, I have a web seminar at midnight tomorrow, which is Friday. And no, gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so confused with the dates because today is Thursday. Yes, today is literally Thursday. So midnight Friday, I have a seminar for building my brand with the online teaching and teaching EFL. So I'm super excited about that, and I will probably tell you more about that. So y'all can also make that money. Let's go, y'all. Let's go. Let's be money makers. But I'm really out of here because I gotta go. Bye-bye. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. I do.